Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Housing Houston. I am your host, Mariela Aguirre, powered by Realvest Property Management.
And I am your co-host, Kayla Ewald with First American Title. And I'm so excited today. We have two owners of their company. They're going to tell us a little bit about how long they've been in the business and what they do. But we're so excited to have both of you here. You want to introduce them? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, we're excited to have these two gentlemen here. They're going to talk all about what they do, and we'll definitely get to that. But in preparation for hurricane season and summer coming up, you need these two contacts. Let me tell you. The first one up, we have Rye Brooks with All American in Tile and Remodeling, Roofing and Renovations, and Terry McWilliams with Texcellent AC Services. Thank you guys for being here.
Woo! Welcome.
Super
How y'all
excited.
feeling?
Great.
You're like, what did you
can't
get me
tell.
into? Oh my gosh. So you guys, tell us a little bit about you and your business and how long you've been doing what you do. Right, you can take it away.
Yeah. I've been doing remodel renovations for about 30 years personally, and established All American in 2009, and we say that from the roof to the floor, quality of the core, so we can kind of take care of anything inside and outside of the home. Of course, with trustworthy sources like Terry and a lot of other partners that we've been able to develop over time.
You say 30 years. I feel like you don't look a day over 21.
So when
what
you're
happened?
legally able to work, I was carrying buckets
so
of
5 years
cement.
old. Okay, got it.
So
Got it. Got it. So you actually opened your company in what year did you say?
2009.
2009. And what about you, Terry?
So I've been in the industry about 15, 16 years now, opened my company in 2018, and I love my craft. It's been a constant progression. Our whole thing is, custom air service, so it's customer, service centric, but with a custom approach. So a lot of companies you find just kind of want to move boxes, sell you equipment and, a snake oil fix for your problem. And we go in and do actual diagnostics before and after so we can prove the efficacy and prescribe solutions that are, customized to what you actually need.
I love it. We were talking a little bit earlier before the podcast about doing things right to where in a couple years it's still standing appropriately and effectively, and how sometimes you get people in your craft that fix it and upsell you, and then 3 years down the road you're having to go in and redo it. So can you talk a little bit about making sure that it's done right the first time?
Yeah, so quality of installation is key in, everything that we do, especially with new equipment. So I've seen a lot of very, very nice systems, high efficiency equipment, big name brands and stuff installed poorly, function poorly, operate poorly, and the people think it's the brand, and a lot of the times it's the contractor and the execution. So there's a lot of different steps that go into installing a system properly, and when you're brazing flowing nitrogen, and reading the instruction manual is like a very basic thing. Putting it in the right orientation, making sure you have your slopes, using proper transitioning, properly sizing your duct system, understanding airflow at its core, and not just winging it, because that was what was there before. I can't tell you how many systems that I've redesigned that they've had 3 systems put in that home and they've never been comfortable in 30, 40 years. And then I come in and I rehab the system, optimize it and everything. It's never been this comfortable in here. Yeah.
That's sad. That's actually sad. That
you've had a
somebody
5-ton
is
system
living.
operating on a 3-ton duct system, and
I heard one last week it was installed upside down.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, no.
That was interesting.
What a waste of time
Yes.
and money. And I can definitely attest to Terry, giving you that whole analysis, because he came to one of my properties and told me he went up to the attic and he went outside, looked at the system outside, and gave me some good pointers on even the unit that, the platform that was on there. And so, yeah, looking at those details is so important for these two crafts that you need it, because if not, it's going to be way more expensive down the line, and that it cannot happen for an investor. As we know, that every penny matters, and so you got to do it right the first time.
Yeah. And being thorough is important. I mean, because it doesn't hurt me for you to know that. It actually educates you, and whether you want to make a decision then or in the future, at least you're educated about it, and you can do something at some point. But if you never know, then that's part of the problem too. And it's our job to go out there with our eyes open, see what's going on, and let you know what's going on.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
was a lot of companies that I worked with before too. Like, it's almost like they wanted you to go in with blinders on and ignore that thing because maybe they installed the system 10 years ago. It's like, well, I mean, okay, even if you did, maybe you didn't know as much as you know now or something. Still, let the customer know. Let them know that technology's changed, or your thinking has changed, or something's changed, and this is a problem, and let them know. And then it's up to them to make the decision to take care of it then, or if it's something blatant that you did, take care of it. Like, I mean,
Right.
it's accountability, right?
Absolutely, and it's okay to
1000%.
make mistakes.
Yeah.
We're all human.
And
we're not
constantly
robots.
learning and growing. So
Because the moment that drip pan fills up, then I got to call it, right, hey, right, they didn't do this right the first time, and Terry called it out. So, that's why I love the partnership that you guys have of, like, while I might not know people, you guys are all connected, and so that makes it even way better, and that's something that I can definitely rely on as an investor.
Yeah, and in our industry, it's one of the huge epidemics that just happens is showers leaking, right? You spend tens of thousands sometimes on a bathroom remodel or a shower remodel, and 3 years later it's leaking. Well, the part that's leaking is underneath all of that tile, underneath all of the pretty stuff that you put on into that shower. All of that has to be torn out to fix the problem. But the main issue is it was never done right the first time, and doesn't mean you're going to notice it right when someone gets done installing one of these showers for you. You won't know until 2 to 3 to sometimes 5 years down the road. It takes a while for a small hole in a liner to show itself. And those are the type of things that we get called all the time for. And to be able to put it together and actually warranty something like that is something that we specialize in doing, but not a lot of companies do. And it was because of going out to a customer's house and they're like, yep, I need to redo the shower. This is actually the second time that this has happened. And, sometimes even just shortly after they were installed. And, well, did you pay them and all that? Well, yeah, I did. It looks great. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not installed properly.
So,
much like the same thing with the ACs and things like that. It'll just come down the quality of the first installation. It's not necessarily going to show itself after you pay the bill.
And you said you warranty. Did I hear that right? So tell us a little bit about that.
So our showers, we warranty for the life of the house.
Wow.
You could sell it, and the address is warranted. If we do the complete system, much like Terry, if we're in charge of installing the complete system the way that we need it done, we warranty it for the life of the house.
That's huge.
What an added bonus.
Well, and it came down to a more elderly customer asked me one time, like when I said lifetime warranty, he said, was that your life or my life? And I was like, that's a good point.
Valid.
For you,
Valid.
life of the house. And I think it just came from that, and I just continued on with an extra warranty. I was like, yes, if your kid or something was to take this house here in a few years, we'll warranty it. And so, but if done properly, it should never leak. You know, but when you have too many hands in it and you have this person doing that and this person doing this, or a lot of contractors have the same guy doing 3 different jobs. You need to have, you don't want your tile guy doing the plumbing. You want a licensed plumber doing that. You don't want, them doing glass. Like what sheetrock guy builds glass, right? But these contractors just have this jack of all trade kind of mentality. Instead of having specific people, there's air ducts that need to be added to the bathroom or ventilation, and it's getting a licensed electrician like Texcellent AC for like Texcellent to come in and make sure that doesn't cause condensation issues,
and
right?
ventilation is so important in these applications, because if you don't ventilate these spaces properly, you're generating a lot of moisture when you're showering and using the restroom and everything, and odors, and you need to get rid of that. Otherwise, it can lead to some issues, and then you'll be calling our friend Rodney.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Who we've had on the show before. So yeah. And so that's why I feel like that's such a great add-on for real estate agents to know, right? Also of like, hey, this house, if you get it done right, it's warranted, and that's a huge selling point to have, because that's not common in a listing. So that's a great
Well, and a
add-on.
lot of people don't know, and in a real estate situation, a home inspector does not automatically do a pan test as part of their inspection. And some of them know how to do it, and some of them don't. And we've had plenty of customers that we worked with that bought the home, and then 6 months to a year later, their shower's leaking, and there was this, the person who sold it to me's fault. Did they know this was going on? And there's all this drama that goes around it. Oh, it's the inspector's fault. Well, they're not really, professionals in exactly doing that. But if you call up a company to perform one of these pretty cost-effective tests to do, doesn't take long to do, you can find out what you're buying is going to, last, because a pan test will show the leak. Even though it takes a while for that leak to show, you put it in an extreme environment of water filled up higher in the shower than it has ever been filled up, then it'll expose that in a matter of,
and if you know, it's always when you're buying the house.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's always a week, or like you said, a couple months after you've moved into this new purchase that you're finding these things out. And let me confirm, who does the pan test?
We would do the pan test, and any plumber can also do it, but we help out a lot of plumbing companies to do it, because a plumber understands the plumbing aspect of the shower, but there's all kinds of other things in the shower. There's glass,
parts.
there's tile, there's backer board, there's things that they don't work with all the time, so we can do a complete test of the whole,
The whole
shower.
surround, Speaking of leaks too, roof leaks.
Yeah.
I mean, maintenance on your roof. These fixtures are up there, and especially nowadays too, they use the cheap ones with the rubber that goes around it. What does rubber do in our hot Texas sun up there?
Right. Yes. Which is a great point that you say, because hurricane season is around the corner, and it sounds like we're going to get it pretty brutal. They say this every year, but I feel like it could be coming. So what type of preventative action that us as homeowners or investors can take to start now, early on before the big hit comes?
I definitely recommend a roof inspection, to see if there is any previous. No customer is usually walking around their home on their roof, just, strolling around on it. So it's getting that inspected to see if there is any previous damages, and maintenance, like Terry was saying. It's just resealing all the roof penetrations that are sticking out of your roof. Those all create very slow leaks that end up rotting a lot of decking up there, and then being very costly when just every 3 to 5 years you do a roof maintenance on there. You won't have these slow leaks that cause damages that don't equal your deductible. So that's a big thing to kind of do prior to the storm, because if you do get an influx of this wind and rain and it comes in, well, it may just from those areas damage a couple $1,000s worth of things. Not enough to really have a claim, but you're out that.
And a lot of that stuff's hidden too. Like, it starts at the roof. It can work its way down, like maybe inside of a wall. These are all areas that you're not in every day. It's out of sight, out of mind until it becomes a big issue. Now you're seeing something on that wall or on that floor, and it's like, well, by then, how many months has it been going on?
And then your
what
health
else is behind there?
Health issues.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now
Long
you got to
term.
have somebody come in and indoor air quality, or potentially growth testing for mold and stuff like that. So it can get really, really bad. So an ounce of prevention, right?
Exactly. And so on your end, what type of prevention can someone do on the? I know besides calling you out, but like
preventatively. Our maintenance agreements are a really good value for that. So just having a professional certified technician, I'll go further, a mechanic, that knows about the system and everything like that, that can come out, go through your entire system with a fine-tooth comb, make sure mechanically it's doing everything it's supposed to be doing, cleanliness-wise, because we're about to come into a long, hot summer. These units are going to be on, they're going to be working, and whenever those coils outside get dirty, they can't, dissipate the heat as efficiently as possible. Same thing for the indoor coils. You're blocking airflow, or if you already have just, pre-existing design design issues and stuff, we can hone in on those things and offer solutions to make it better so that your system has the best fighting chance going in. So having those professionally trained eyes on your system and getting that maintenance done is key and crucial, especially this time of year. We are coming into summer. So you don't want to get into summer and then realize you have all this, because now your system's down and you're having to do all of this to rehab it and get it back to working order.
And not only that, but it's more costly too. And also to try to,
costly, schedule-wise, everything. Like,
yeah.
I mean, as air-conditioned as Houston is and as many contractors as we have in this city, everybody just gets really, really busy in the summertime because it's all hands on deck. Everybody's doing as much as possible, and there's all kinds of projects going on. We're putting out fires all over the place.
I was going to say, we're hot, we're angry, we're hungry. It's just the worst time to do everything.
So maintenance, like this time of year, I mean, it's beautiful outside right now. Like, this is the time of year we even want to be up in your attics and like doing this kind of stuff. Last thing we want to do is 140, 160 degree attics doing, stuff that we could have been doing whenever the attics are like 80, 90 degrees.
So you advise twice a year?
At least, yeah. So we really put a big emphasis on the springtime checks because summer is, dominant here.
Okay.
But we do occasionally get a winter day or two. Sometimes a super freeze.
Hey, I had my boots out quite a bit. Okay, this past winter.
It depends on how Houston's feeling. But in the winter as well, or I'd say the fall, you want to get your heater and everything checked too for safety. Once again, going back to quality of installation, we go back to systems that have been installed for a long time, and even new installations that weren't done by us that just weren't done properly. And you want to make sure that appliance is operating safely, because ultimately it's heating your home. In a lot of cases, especially here, we're using gas-fired appliances, so there is a risk for carbon monoxide and stuff like that if stuff isn't done safely and up to code. So we just want to make sure all that stuff is kosher, and that you're going to be heated comfortably and wake up in the morning. So
and I know that with how bad the storms have been year over year, getting a lot of generator use and things of that sort with the soft starts and the surge protectors. I bet that's something that people miss, going through the...
So especially with the technology, like going the way that it has been going for a long time now with electrically commutated motors and control boards and inverters and everything, it is very, very important to have like proper surge protection. And just because your house has a whole home surge protector, that does not always protect like your equipment. A surge can happen from a loose wire connection somewhere on that circuit within the home, and your whole home surge protector is not going to protect that. So we always advise and recommend them at the units to protect them. And then speaking to the soft start kits, whether you do just a portable standby generator or a whole home generator, if you do have a standard single stage system, soft starts are definitely recommended to just lower that current and help start that AC up under the generator, so you can have that reprieve if you need it as well. And they do need to be sized properly. So there's universal products out there that people will just throw in, and you get DIYers and stuff like that doing it. I've seen some damage done right after the storm because the Facebook warriors come out and start throwing them in everywhere. So
of course,
we do have to be careful. We do recommend professional installation with that. I mean, the way that it's done, the materials that you use when you put it in.
I'm imagining what all you guys see.
Oh my gosh, a lot of DIY.
Got some stories.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, we're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsor here shortly. Crash goes the sound of you throwing your keyboard out the window. Patience, young Padawan, your local IT superheroes are here to save the day. Dinn Technologies is here to hold your hand and support you through the landscape of technology. They are here to support the local business and entrepreneur to give you the support that you deserve. We help transform your challenges into triumphs. Let us support your business and facilitate your growth and security. We offer remote support, cleanup, virus removal, PC upgrades, network and security setups, office buildouts and projects, support desk, and monthly support options to fix your problems, prevent downtimes, and optimize your business. As a special, they are offering remote monitoring at $1 for the first month. We believe that local business deserves enterprise level support, and that is our mission for you. Let Dinn Technologies be your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Don't miss a single listing or emails. Reach out to them if you have any questions, if you need any help. Big or small, they are here to help you. Dinn Technologies. And we're back. We're going to continue this conversation. Kayla?
Yes. So I have a question for you, Rye, if you don't mind. So we deal with a lot of real estate agents, residential mostly. And over the past, I would say year, 2, 3, we've seen the difference of roofs and the causes that they can bring when the contracts go under contract. So how long did they used to last, and how long are they lasting now as far as maintenance and having to get new roofs?
Yes, they last the same amount of time. It's just the rules when it comes to a lot of insurance and how much they want to insure.
Okay.
That's kind of changing the rules on. So a limited lifetime shingle is like you hear 25, 30-year shingle. Those are still there, and you get all the warranties that come with it. But small print, name storm, that warranty's gone. So it's not like this limited lifetime shingle warranty that you have is going to last past one name storm. And how many do we get in our area?
Yeah.
So they do last that long, the 25, 30 years, but the storms affect them more than just shingles coming off.
Okay.
That's why they do the name storm, where that's their disclaimer. Because if you have a named storm, 130, 140 mile an hour wind, and it pulls off some shingles and you repair it, well, it also pulled off tons of granules that you don't know. Okay. That just aged the roof more. So how long the shingle lasts is how long the granules stay on that protect the backing that keeps the water out of your house.
Makes perfect sense, and I love that, because I'm thinking of like a human body, and if we might last 100 years, but what we insert into our body and the way we take care of it could take lives off or years off of our lives. So,
yeah.
Okay.
And so they calculate that into how much they're willing to insure, and that's why they'll say, no, we're not insuring after 15 years, because they have data showing the different storms and things of that sort. So, about after 15 years, you're going to get a lot of trouble with your roof in a buying and selling, transaction. You may not, after 15 years, have an issue. If you plan to stay there, it's just going to be on an insurance or a buying and selling transaction. So
inspector is putting on the inspection this roof XYZ, and that's whenever they call you, and you can go out there and do a roof inspection, and then what they would need to do to be able to sell that in a timely manner.
And that's what we're looking for when we go out and do those roof inspections. We're looking for, some maintenance things that need to be done. Is there any decking that's soft that maybe needs to be replaced? And what is the granule, I guess you should say count, but just how does the granules look? What does the age look like? Not necessarily how long has this roof been on there, because different parts of town, how much shade you get, there's all different factors on every part of town, to where we could say, no, I think there's another good 6 to 9 years worth of life left on this. And that's when we present that to those buyers or sellers to give them our evaluation.
Well, one thing that you mentioned was the wind factor. Lately, I have seen a lot more of tornado warnings. And so I would love for you to speak on that, of what have you seen in what parts of town, and how also is there even preventative action with that?
Yeah, there's certain sections of town that are heavier on different storms, like the Katy, Jersey Village area and Pasadena area are very heavy with hail. Those are just spots that we see over the years that just get the heaviest hits on those areas. So definitely looking at any type of hail damage in those areas prior to buying something, because that hail damage may not be too visible, but it creates leaks later because it knocks all the granules off of one singular spots that can have leaks. And as far as wind, again, like that I-10 area, definitely Pasadena has a lot of tornadoes that kind of been coming through there. But we had that big derecho thing that came through Houston it doesn't come, but every some odd years, it's just out of nowhere. So there is going to be strange events like that.
And so whenever it starts leaking, if you're in the house, you'll feel that moisture. Like what does that look like, or is that a Rodney situation?
If you've got to call Rodney, it's already been going on for quite some time.
Poor Rodney.
I know.
With me in particular too, like, I mean, just with my like home performance background too, within HVAC and high performance HVAC, I keep my eyes open to like even building structure things. So when I'm like in the attic specifically, even actually when I'm walking up to the house, like everybody's all looking at all the pretty stuff and the flowers and stuff. I'm looking at like the drainage off of the roof. I'm looking to see if they have ridge vents. I'm looking at like, you know, the windows or single pane, stuff like that. I'm already trying to size this house up. So whenever I get in and see the equipment and everything, you know, how it works together, is it removing humidity properly? Does capacity look like it's, you know, and there are ways to like formulate that too with like Manual J, DTS and all that stuff too. But on the inside, you know, looking at roofs, you can, even if it's dried already, you can see where the moisture has been tracking for quite some time. I keep my eyes open to all those little details because that could be a sign, you know, of moisture intrusion, and I want to be able to refer them to a good and qualified roofer that can help them get ahead of those things if it hasn't already gotten too bad. So, yeah, even like insulation below plumbing fixtures and stuff. I mean, you could see where, you know, it's obviously been being pounded with water. I mean, just all those things.
So you handle everything on the inside, right? Well, I guess you remodel too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I was going to say.
So HVAC protects everything else. I'm just like one of those unicorn high performance HVAC guys that, you know, picks up on all those little subtle hints, and I'm able to hopefully preventatively bring that stuff to your attention before it gets so bad to where like now you're having to, you know, call Rodney and do extensive remodeling with Rye. Hopefully we can catch it to where it's just minimal fixes on both sides to where, you know, you be preventative, because that's what it's all about, right? Especially this time of year, like doing as much prevention as you can, safeguarding your home, you know, having the roof inspected, having your system, you know, maintenance, having somebody that knows what they're looking at when they are coming out there too. So these miracle deals where, you know, $29, $49 will come out and do an inspection. Do you really think they're going to be inspecting that much for
Thoroughly,
like
yeah.
$29 in gas just to get there.
Right.
They're losing money getting to your house. They're coming in to try to sell you something.
Right.
Like,
and not
period.
only money, but like time. You're wasting my time now.
Yeah.
Like part of me, I'm like, can I just call you guys whenever I walk another investment and like, okay, tell me if this is okay, if it's gonna be costly.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna start calling you guys to do walkthroughs with me.
If we're giving away time.
Right.
Yeah.
Might as well. What part of town do you service? Like, where all do you go in the greater Houston area?
We do, our main working area is kind of Conroe to League City area, Katy to Pasadena. I mean, it's a big area, but we go a little bit outside of that for a lot of our previous customers that have, you know, something maybe in Galveston, but we don't put out like our marketing or anything like that in those areas. Yeah.
And what about you, Terry?
So my license allows me to work all over the great state of Texas, but of course I, you know, do the predominant amount of my work here in the greater Houston area. But we're out of Deer Park, birthplace of Texas and Texcellent. So big focus on the southeast, but I mean we've been all the way from, you know, Galveston, Lake Jackson, on up to, you know, Austin, Dallas. You know, Sealy, San Antonio, and Beaumont. So.
Not for $29, though.
Right.
$29.
You're not going to Austin for $29.
A lot of the far-reaching places too. It's existing customers that move out there or like refer us to somebody that's out there and everything, and they just like, hey, I mean, we don't trust anybody out here. We've been told this, told that. You know, we'll pay you whatever it is. Like, fly you out here, whatever, and you know, we'll go and we'll, you know, look at it and take care of it.
And you're saying us, so both of you are the owners of your companies.
Right.
You've both created your companies, but who do you have on staff or employees, and what does that look like?
Yes, we have about 4 project estimators that come out to the house and evaluate what needs to be done on any different thing from the roof to the floor. 4 project managers on site with the customers, communicating daily, as well as the office staff. And many of y'all know Chad.
Yes.
He's our
Do
sales
we
manager.
know Chad,
Right, shout out
best
to
sales
Chad.
manager out there?
Yes, you gotta throw that out there, and he's awesome. He helps me run a lot of that side of the business, and all of that is just grew from our apprenticeship workforce. So all of our all the guys that we have doing the projects and home are in house, and we We apprenticed all of them ourselves. I've been doing this since I was 5, as Kayla was saying. And so everybody that works there has been through our apprenticeship program. So everything that they do, they've went through it. I personally either trained them or Eric is one of my field managers. He was my first guy out there next to me, working side by side, and we apprenticed others. That way everything's done the same way I did it with my hands. And there's a lot of licensed trades that we utilize on our projects, like Terry. He's been out on many of our projects. Actually, Anissa just posted a great review. He was over there on this last project, helping her with the AC side of the remodel, converting a garage to a master bedroom and bathroom. And so he was able to get all
That's
that
awesome.
Conditioned well, and for that living in place with her mother. So
Nice. What about you, Terry?
So we have some office staff to help with dispatching and bookkeeping, and then we have 3 technicians in the field and 2 or 3 installation crews as needed, depending on the season. Also, all of our technicians or mechanics, we are actually a UA Local 211 union contractor. So we have union trained and certified, technicians, which is kind of a unicorn in our market because we're heavier, residential and light commercial, versus a lot of the residential companies are typically wanting to employ, salespeople or people that just kind of know the lingo and everything like that. Well, we're actual mechanics first, so we know how to fix a system. I can do so much by just rehabbing an existing system and optimizing a duct system without having to just go like a replacement option. Though sometimes replacement is, the solution or a part of the solution too. So
Absolutely.
it's that full-fledged approach.
I love hearing that because we've had many conversations and I've seen the growth in you over the past couple years, but I really had no idea of the team that you had behind you. So love hearing that. It's not just you guys, which y'all are amazing, but you also have what it takes to service the greater Houston area or the state.
Yeah,
you
for
said.
sure. And so with it, and you touched up a little bit on it, is that you guys not only do residential, you do commercial as well. And I want to ask because of my investors also have a foot on each side. So is that something that you are
Absolutely.
working
As a union, journeyman myself, prior to this, I worked for a large, union contractor. So I've done a lot of large commercial properties. I mean, I've worked in some of the big hospital systems. I took over Space Center Houston for a length of time,
wow.
a lot of, large facilities. So a lot of ample experience there. Company-wise now, we definitely still service a lot of, commercial clients. We do have a heavier focus on our residential, but, strip centers, anything like that. And even the larger buildings, I've got associates in the industry that I work closely with on projects that will, refer work over and everything like that, or even like kind of quarterback and consult for each other and everything like that. So none of our clients are ever in need. We've got a really, really good referral network, and we, handle everyone with kid gloves and, consult them on any projects.
Yeah, if you have ever been to Rob Ray's Tap Room, that is done by Terry and his team. So we
shout
love
out
Rob
to
Ray's.
Rob.
Yes.
It's located in Pearland if you ever want to go.
Yeah.
Good spot.
Good spot.
Yeah, and I like to say light commercial because in remodel and renovation that can be very huge and very time consuming, and it's a lot better in at least my industry to have a residential and a commercial person's specialty. So we kind of do light commercial, like some office build out, some different, changing some flooring, doing some different things for a lot of our customers that have office buildings. But to go and renovate a entire building is not really suited for us, but we do more of a niche of smaller light commercial repairs and remodels.
I'm just imagining like a huge hospital, like you said, and all of Rye's team being in there remodeling all of it at the same time.
We have many customers that would say, "Hey, can they come back to our house? We really would like another project, but they're at the hospital."
They're at the hospital, helping out the hospital.
So,
the whole
yes.
team, Chad too. You're there.
Yeah.
Right.
Gosh.
Oh, that's perfect. And both licensed, insured, and bonded. So that's music
Absolutely.
to investors' ears, but also
Yeah.
other property management companies. If y'all are seeking them out, you need these on your team.
Yeah. So This is a device called Air Advice. This has some professional grade sensors in it that test for temperature, humidity, particulate matter, formaldehyde, chemicals, and probably something else I'm forgetting. But
Wow.
the parameters that it checks, we can do a 30-minute flash report, or we can do long-term testing in spaces. So when we go out for a consult, this is usually one of the things we like to start with to get like a baseline testing of the indoor air quality in the space. This can be utilized anywhere too, residential or commercial. But for people concerned with breathing issues or indoor air quality problems and stuff like that, this gives us a little bit of data to go by, and then we couple that with our evaluation of their existing mechanical systems, HVAC systems in the home, so that we can take all of that data, go ahead and formulate a solution for them, and then retest too afterwards. And this is just one tool. We've got a ton of tools that we deploy in the
that's
process. But then we can test afterwards too, so that we can compare the data and prove the efficacy of what we do. That's something that a lot of people don't do is, everybody, oh, this will fix it. Oh, this will fix it. And do you ever know? I mean, you might feel a little better, but like, what about like all the other stuff you don't see? Because air's not very visible. So you can't really see all the stuff in it.
I'm just imagining, we bought our house 10 months ago, and they say new builds and the construction brings so much. And I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, so I'm imagining what all has been on the carpets and in the air, and I'm actually frightened.
I love new construction because it's good for business. But I know a lot of really, really good builders that like really focus on quality, and they're not doing the track homes, they're not doing the production homes, I can assure you. The ones who are doing that stuff, give me job security.
Okay, so that's where you would you would just come into our house and test it all, and then be like, okay, you've been breathing in.
Man. I can think of a lot of people that have with allergies. Just that they can't figure it out, and like, is it me? Is it just the outside? And it's like, well, no, it's actually in your home where you are.
And the way that things are being constructed now, like because of construction standards that have changed and everything, everything's being built tighter. Now you've got a tighter shell. Okay, that's great. It's more efficient and everything like that. But now all that stuff's trapped in there. So if you don't have the proper ventilation, the proper dilution, fresh air, the proper strategies for dehumidification, and regular sensible control with your air conditioning system, you can create a whole little micro habitat in there that's not going to be conducive to good health. Not to mention all that material's new, and this material's coming from places it's off-gassing VOCs, which is volatile organic compounds. That's the other thing, VOCs.
Okay, we brought it in. Well, I'm thinking of when we turn the air on or the heater on and the cheese smell. I'm like, what is that? He's like, that's not good. He's like, that's not good.
Do you guys have gas up there?
Oh, why are you asking
electric?
me this? I don't know any of that. I'm married to somebody who keeps my whole life together.
If it's electric heat, a lot of times that first electric heat burn off, it's all the dust on the strips. It can smell like kind of burnt hair and stuff. It's not very good, but you really shouldn't have all that dust build up neither if you have proper filtration and everything set up. So. Yeah, maintenance.
Yes, the importance of maintenance, y'all.
I really want, especially we're kind of going back to storm season, when the storm happens and something is needed for your home to be repaired, it's just trying to find somebody to get out there, right? It's a lot better to have those contacts prior to the storm. A company that does know how the insurance works, right? They know the softwares that the insurance companies communicate on. They specialize in that type of work. And having those contacts prior to a storm is so important, to where you can call right ahead, and even talking to them ahead of time, being like, hey, I just want to let you know I'm here. I don't need anything now, but I'll be calling you if something happens,
That's a great point, because when you get last minute, you get desperate, and then the work is not going to be the right work.
Well, I know Harvey, when I was driving around trying to help previous customers, at that time we only helped previous customers in storms. And when I would drive up to a stoplight and I would see a sign that said Houston Strong Renovations, I'm like, that guy just created that business. That word just came out, today, or a week ago.
Somebody had
right?
easy
I mean, that's
access to an
what,
attorney.
these storms bring in just all kinds of stuff that you don't know.
Storm chasers.
It's storm chase, and so it's good to have these things prepared and who you're trusted, like we talked about earlier, inspections and stuff like that, but at least having a good who you're going to call when stuff happens.
Absolutely. And then I'd say from my side, think about HVAC outside of the box when you think about our company, because we do a lot more than just the general, maintenance, repairs, installations too, because we are a high performance HVAC contractor, which means, this air advice testing is just one little leg of our, indoor air quality suite. I do blower door testing, duct blast testing, which tests the shell of the actual home and everything like that to bring to light issues that are beyond the mechanical equipment. Design as far as manual J, D, T, S, all the things that are supposed to go into implementing the equipment and everything in the system. So we are a true unicorn, and I myself being certified by Building Performance Institute, by National Comfort Institute, having the NATE certifications, of all the different specialties and everything like that. That is a true unicorn thing for the founder to have and still actively utilize in his company, because you're getting me there consulting and in my craft and quarterbacking these projects. I'm not just delegating it off, all the time to someone. I've got my hands on the projects, my eyes on the projects. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Man, this has been amazing. No.
I just want to say thank you, because we know how busy you guys are.
Yes, and I know you got to run out soon, so we're cutting it close.
Yeah, and we saw you at a house this morning, doing your work. So we know y'all are super busy, and we just are so grateful that you spent time with us today. And thank you for giving some knowledge to our real estate agents and our investors and our consumers. We will refer them over to you whenever they have questions, because we don't know anything that y'all just said. Right. But no, I'm just kidding. We will leave it to y'all to explain it all again. But thank you guys for spending time with us today.
Just remember Texcellent AC service, where custom air service is our specialty. 281-402-5100.
All right. All American, 832-948-5357. From the roof to the floor, quality to the core.
I love it. And I'm your co-host, Kayla Ewald, with First American Title.
And I am your other co-host, Mariela Aguirre, powered by Realvest Property Management Company. Thank you so much. Until next time.